It's funny because when I watch, it's going live now. When I watch on the screen where it's going live, it's delayed and I'm a hand talker. So I see myself over there and it makes no sense now. So,
I love it.
anyways, I love it. So good. Glad to be here with you today, everybody. Welcome to Real Life with Tom and Michelle. Woo, woo, woo. That's not what we're called, but we are thrilled to be here with you today on another Wednesday, which is fabulous. Friendly reminder to those of you who don't have time to pop in every Wednesday, and I totally get it, I understand. But I just want to remind you everything's on YouTube. We do transfer it over weekly. And so if you want to catch up on what you missed, or if you want to sort of recap, because you might have problems this week that you didn't have the week that we were talking about a particular topic. So feel free to refresh, go back, look at them. Also, friendly reminder, you can like and subscribe, which would be absolutely fabulous. And then the other thing is too, is that on the YouTube page and on the Facebook page, when you go back and you're rewatching, feel free to comment. I know we can't respond because it's not live, but it does let Tom and I know that you commented, and we can start a brand new conversation on a topic we already covered. Because the reality is, and I know Tom mentioned it last week, all of these things are intertwined. We're going to cover them. We might call them different things or whatever, but over time, they're all interconnected. We're going to recap and cover things as well. Do you want
Yep.
to talk, Tom, or you want me just to talk?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have my tea. I've got my little puppy cup. I don't know if you can see it, and
Ooh, nice.
it's a
Is it a
little,
wiener dog?
yeah, it's
Oh,
a wiener. I'm drinking out of a wiener cup.
oh, well, isn't that 2024?
Yeah,
I love it. Not me. I have, this is a classic. Can you see it? Laura Secord,
love it.
right? I don't even know where we got this baby, but it is mine.
It's funny because again with work, I was telling Michelle before we jumped on. Just got home. Michelle's busy. She's usually busy on Wednesdays. I try to. I have somewhat control of my time, but I do have to work, and so I have a new customer. It's a 4 different location university, and so busy. So you get home, and I normally don't drink hot drinks at night. I'm not any reason. Caffeine doesn't bug me, but
Mhm.
I thought I'd have a pot of tea. So I have tea
Hmm.
and I have my lemon water.
Nice. Very
And
good.
so just throwing it out there for people. Hope everybody is well. I am just putting it on my laptop to see who's in the group and who's watching. We have Wendy, Callie, and Linda.
Woo-hoo. Hello. Glad everybody's with us today. Happy to
Yeah.
have you with us, which is fabulous. Please feel free to share. It is interactive. I put that in the video description thing. If you have something to share, or, and I'm just going to throw this out there, if you have something to share that has nothing to do with the topic, throw it out there anyways. We fly by the seat of our pants. We pick these topics because we think maybe they'll resonate with anybody, somebody, us, life experience, that sort of thing. But if totally out of the blue, you're like, you know what, today I really want to know what your thoughts on blah, blah, blah. Put it in there or private message us. We're both very reachable. Maybe not during this. I don't know if I would really get that. But yeah, reach out. We could always use it for a topic for next week.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said before, we're not. Michelle and I both have different kind of platforms and things that we
Hmm.
do, but we realized when we started this is that our personal journeys have getting older. Speaking for me, not Michelle, she's staying the same age for the last 30 years.
Ever,
But
ever.
but for me, this whole idea of I guess more focused on being well. I find it's just easy to coast through life, right? And for me, I don't know if I mentioned this last week. No, I had a horrible week last week. I
Mhm.
had like my Friday. Oh no, we talked on Wednesday. So after Wednesday, I had like if I was if I needed to drink to have a drink, I would have to break out a couple of bottles of whiskey and gin, and like it was just things out of my control, by the way, and it was customer related, it was personal related, and it was like, okay, what am I going to do? And then so what I do as we talk about is and like these were not good things; these were bad things, and I had to just take a breath, close my eyes, settle down, take some breaths, because again, you can't control things that are out of your control. um like what do you do with that, right? And one of my things is I'm very confident and I'm proud that in any type of work that I've done, my retention rate with my customers is probably one of the highest in Canada.
Mhm.
um in being in the industry I'm in with coffee, we with COVID and shut down, like a lot of the industry, you know, never came back, right? A lot of people lost a lot of money. So for me, losing people like that has happened, and it's sad, but my heart is always to help people. So like Michelle said earlier, with doing this, that's our whole goal.
Right.
We don't profess to be experts, but you know what? We know a little bit about a lot of things,
That's right.
right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you have your opening questions for me?
I do. Motorcycle or bicycle? Bicycle, bicycle.
I don't like either.
Oh, interesting. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Can you ride a bicycle?
I'm not going to disclose that live.
No
No,
problem.
I a couple of my sisters love their motorcycles, and like I actually I'm pretty in awe of that. Like, man, that's pretty cool.
Sure.
But I don't even know if I don't honestly, Michelle, I can't even remember riding a bike as a kid. Anytime in my childhood,
Yeah.
I think there's something about feeling not protected by anything. Like
Okay. Yeah.
one of our siblings, their husband has a smart car, the ones that are like this big.
Yes, I've seen it.
I can't be in it because I feel like I would be destroyed by somebody else's mistake. So
Ooh,
I like my car.
yep.
Somebody
Yep.
hits me. I have a Volkswagen Passat. I feel I do a lot of driving, so I have a good car. But I feel like if a truck hits me, I'm done. It doesn't matter. But I
Yep.
feel safer. So yeah. So I renege on that answer.
Okay. I would go with bicycle, but completely as a casual, like if I were to pick one, but I don't own a bicycle. I don't intend, I go on an exercise bicycle twice a week, but I don't plan on buying one of those either.
I
Um,
love it.
yeah, motorcycle, like they're great. I've been on them, whatever, but I don't have a quest because I'm like you. I like being in a vehicle. Um, and yeah, I don't need the wind in my hair. I
And you
can,
know what? As I think about it, I probably would do a motorcycle. My sister would like this
mhm.
because one of the issues I have, I don't know, I'm not pigeon toed or whatever. I've had lots of leg issues my whole life, right? When I try to do the bike at the gym, I can't do it. My heel keeps hitting the in between part of the bike, and it hits it and it comes out of the foot pedal. So I do a treadmill, right?
Oh,
I had my hip replaced a couple years ago, right?
mhm.
So I've had to work on that, and I'm working on my health. And so yeah, I would do a motorcycle now.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Awesome. It would be beautiful to drive a motorcycle through the mountains.
Yeah, I like to be in a sidecar. So my sister, who's on here, when I go to Ontario, get a little sidecar that'll fit me, and I'll put on my little goggles, and
Oh
I'll
my
hold a
God,
snoot.
that would be so awesome. Oh my gosh, do it, Wendy, do it. And then I'll drive by and I'll have Al with a squirt gun.
Totally, I'm in. I'm in.
I love it. Very good. Okay. Let's talk music. Rock or country? No, there's
Ooh,
no other options. Rock or country.
so not Rockney and not I won't say the other one.
No,
I'm
don't
putting the
do
letters. I'm
it. Yeah,
replacing it. Yeah.
no,
Um, I mean, I like folk as my primary, but rock would be it. It'd be all generations of rock. I mean, mostly old classical rock.
Me too. I don't think rock today is rock as we know it. You know
No,
what I mean? It's evolved into something. And then the third one, I think I know the answer to, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. Driver or passenger?
driver.
Now, here's what's funny. I would pick passenger because I'm always the driver. Always. So it's nice when like Rob and I go somewhere, he always drives. Although I don't go far working from home and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but I like to look out the window every once in a while. That's why when we drove out, oh my gosh, so funny. I gotta tell you a funny story. So when me and Nicole drove out west, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Nicole just had her beginners. She did
I
she didn't have her actual license. So we probably drove places that she shouldn't have drove. Anyways, we're driving along the Trans-Canada Highway and she's driving and I'm looking out the window and I'm loving it. And then she says, "Oh, look, we're coming up to Winnipeg. Should we trade?" And I'm like, "No, you're so good. We're going to be fine." Oh my goodness. Number one, we'd never been to Winnipeg, pretty big city. Number two, the whole area we drove into was under huge construction. So that was awkward because and dealing with everything. And then there's, officials around. Then we get to Sarnia's a small town. It's a little different now. This was in 2015 because everything's different now. But we didn't have homeless people holding signs up back then. So not only is she not confident, she's driving, there's no road, she's on, I don't know, rubble, there's the popo all over, which, she's thinking they could pull her over. And then right beside her window, there's a guy with a sign. And she's like, and she probably in that moment was cursing me, like, really? And I remember her giving me the stink eye saying, "Really? You really thought that I could drive?" And she made it. She was fine. She was a survivor.
So your daughter's on, and she just asked, what did I miss?" You'll have to listen to the recording, Nikki, because your mom just told a story about you driving out here. Oh, she heard part of the story. That was
That
scary.
was scary. You did a great job, Nicole. Where's
Yeah,
my pom pom? Hold on. Pom pom for Nicole. Woo, woo,
yeah.
woo. Very good. Very
So,
good.
so if maybe we can do another show, confessions of illegal driving.
Maybe. Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
I didn't. I didn't know you needed. Well, I knew, but I didn't care. I don't think I got my license until I was 27, and I've driven across the country and down into the states, and I don't
Wow.
know. This is back in the 70s, right?
Right,
Early 80s or 70s,
right,
right?
right.
I was just looking up here. I may post it in our group later. The scariest driving for me was on my way out doing my cross country thing.
Mm,
And what I tried to do is drive 10 or 12 hours a day and interview somebody if I could and whatever, right? So I was visiting our cousin, Sean, up in northern Swan River, Manitoba, and it's north Manitoba. Like it's probably, if you were to put a line across, it's like the top of the Hudson Bay.
oh,
And so all of a sudden I'm listening to like CBC radio, no cell, no electricity posts. I'm on a dirt road. And
right.
I read up about some said like be wary of moose. And then so all of a sudden I get there. I hadn't seen my cousin in a long time. Did an interview with him, and then I'm driving down. I'm staying just outside of Winnipeg. I can't remember where it was. And he says, and it's getting dark. I don't like driving in the dark, by the way. And it's
Right.
getting dark. He says, don't take this road that goes along the Hudson Bay. He says it's brutal roads, and there's like thousands of animals that come out at night.
Oh,
And just on the road, right? It's a dirt road. So I went
yep.
through this other one, which was a half. It was a provincial park. I was like anxious and stressed,
Oh, I bet.
and I drove across. Like I've had to drive at night. I just don't like it. But it was. It's like you're saying about Nicole. You don't know. you're not comfortable because you don't know where you're going. Hold my steering wheel. You don't know
Yep.
where you're going, and if you're in the prairies, like if you're going, you drove across the country. So if you're in the prairies, if
That is
your car
perfect.
goes straight, you can have a nap.
Well, and that was a great time to swap her in, is when
Yeah.
we were in that environment. And then yeah, boom, here comes the city. So there
Yeah.
you go, right?
Well, well, there you go. So if you guys want to share any of your driving stories, that would be fun. But me and Michelle, like we said, we don't have we have a group of things we think maybe we'll talk about, but we're really chill, right? So what we do is we'll do a week, and Michelle may have a topic, and then we switch and do whatever. So I messaged Michelle on the weekend because I was thinking, a lot of what we do is, I believe it's helpful, but it's relational, right?
Yeah.
And it's, we're storytellers, that me and Michelle are, and I think actually there's a real benefit to that. But
Mhm.
I thought, I put a little video the other day, and I think I mentioned on Sunday, but I mentioned about growing into the best version of yourself, and the topic was goal setting. And really, everything we're talking about is about being the best version of yourself, and through life experience and through knowledge, right? That's how we get there. And it's very easy. Like I said earlier, my Friday last week, I was ready. I just so I could have easily slipped into, like, I feel when I know when depression comes on and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd ever be as bad as I was before, but I can feel it, the onslaught. I feel it in my mind and my body, right? So the fact that I know that and I have enough wisdom and experience, I can shut her down, right?
That's right.
And so part of it is goal setting. So let me ask you some questions as we get going. So with your work, the
Yes.
one job, not the hotel job, do
Okay.
you do you have to, or do you choose to do any type of goal setting for your work?
It doesn't really apply. Like,
I'm thinking Weight Watchers, with Weight Watchers, right?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking because it's so structured. Like, I guess
So
the only goal maybe is to, with my like I have two nationals, virtuals. I mean, it's a very controlled corporate environment. But
right,
that being said, if you switch it over to my tie dye, I do goal setting with that.
yeah,
So, as far as like, um, not necessarily like because I'm so busy, I'm so like I don't have a lot of extra time, and it's an activity that gives me joy. So I do it first for self, and then I do it second monetarily. But I do as far as growth, as far as getting them out right now with my Sarnia Rocks, because I do that as well. I wear all these different hats. With Sarnia Rocks, I actually have some goals because I'm over 7,000 members on my page now.
love
Uh,
it.
I'm selling merch. So I'm merging. So here's a neat thing. So I don't mean to kibosh your question here, but I do Positive Power, which is a Facebook page, which is all about positivity. Then I do the tie dye. Then I do the Sarnia Rocks. So I've started tie dyeing Sarnia Rocks t-shirts that say "You Matter" on the back.
Yeah,
Tying all three together.
yeah. And
Yeah.
see,
So
and actually, actually, I should have asked a question before that question. And this goes out to the group. So your daughter is pumping your tires on our walls. That's great.
whoop, whoop,
Um,
cool.
so maybe is what stops us from goal setting? Actually, no, let's take even a step further. What is goal setting? And I mean, I know we all know this, but let's talk it out. So,
Sure.
in your mind, what's setting a goal?
Okay, so do you want like my professional answer?
I want I want it tie dyed on a shirt. Yeah, so I'm getting comfortable in my chair here.
Okay,
Um, I'm
because
good with I'm good with whatever you say.
okay,
Both
yeah.
ends.
So when setting goals, like what I promote with my groups and even with the different pages I do, small increments to a bigger goal, right? But if it's not, so we follow the SMART model. So is it achievable, right? All that sort of stuff. There's like a zillion different models you can, but it has to be in small increments and you have to celebrate along the way. Those are the two key things. And then back to your other question that then you sort of pushed aside a little bit, fear.
Yeah.
Fear is what stops people.
Yeah. So I'm going to give a shout out. We've got Nikki, Ron, Callie, Linda, Wendy, Deborah, another Wendy, Tina, and Jacqueline. So thank you all for joining us.
And
Again,
in your life.
yeah, and we say this all the time. Feel free to comment. We like I'm fairly intelligent. I'll say that. My head's not in a bubble. I don't live up here, but I also know that with things like this, as I probably do, sometimes we have this on, and I have friends that'll have it on while they're making dinner, so they're paying attention, but they're multitasking, right? But so again, feel free to jump in and say stuff. We appreciate it. It makes us, it helps us to figure out what we want to talk about. But the fear, it's so interesting with fear. So in my work, I'm like you, I'll use work, my vocational work, and then my business work, right? And again, I'm going to be fairly transparent here. So my work, I'm one of the top territory managers in Canada with the company I'm with. So I'm proud of that.
Good.
That was one of my issues last Friday. I had a customer, the owners were friends of mine, but their new GM, a big account, decided to go with somebody else. And I don't get beat up in that, but I like, it's personal to me in the sense of like, where did I drop the ball? How, I run to the fire. I take care of my customers. Like I said, that's why I think I'm good at what I do. Right. And so with my work, and then there's bonus structures and everything's involved semi-annually. But if I don't set a goal, then I'm meandering, right? So I used to have a company that was consulting restaurants, because my two fields are food service or restaurants and all that. And then my other one in the last, say, several years has been working with mental wellness, right? And I remember like the first restaurant I had, I always tell people, because I go, I've owned several restaurants. Oh, he must be rich. Hey, hook me up, right? No, I didn't own the building. I owned the business. You know this. And when you own a business and you're brick and mortar, you're eating at the restaurant and you might have to sleep there. But when I was in my early 20s, right? So I was a good chef. I did good food. And the first place I had was in the Okanagan in BC here. And I was good. I was proud of it. But at the end of the year, I'm an accountant. At the end of the year, if I didn't make a lot of money, and we were busy in that. I then took a course with Okanagan College. It was supposed to be hotel and restaurant management, but it was a marketing guide. It was night school, couple nights a week, I think, for 2 years. That changed my perspective, because it was the whole front of the house, and that'll get back to us as people and personal, right? It's the whole front of the house where getting people into the door and then keep having people come back. How do you do that? So when I did restaurant consulting, that was one of the big things, because some people say, well, like our doors are open, they come, and that's a slow, that's like, there's nothing wrong with winning 1% at a time. So I'm not like beating that stuff up, right? But if we're not aware of, and so go back to the restaurant thing, when I was consulting restaurants, if some of them wouldn't even know what's your break even number for the day? What's your, like now, one of the big terms over the last few years, cost of acquisition. What does that mean? What does it look like, right? So for those that aren't business minded, I'm going to get out of the business mind to personal. But if you don't, in our lives, this is just my experience, and I think there's lots of information on it. If you don't set a goal, however you set a goal, if you don't set goals for yourself, 90% of the time you won't attain them. It just won't happen.
When you're just
right?
leaving it up to chance.
Yeah, and you can meander through life with that, but if it's your personal wellness, your education, your finances, your relationships.
Yeah.
And Michelle said something too about celebrating that, which is so cool. Like I've got SMART goals written down too, so we'll say what those are so people will know, and we'll share stuff
Yeah.
later. But if the whole key is finding something. Like first of it is you want to challenge yourself, and for some people, depending where you've been, what's happening, that feels scary. This is what stops us, right?
Right.
And we and so we, if we're already insecure, that can add to that. So there's a ways around that. We'll talk a bit about that, or I can share stuff later. There's ways around that. So knowing who yourself is, going, okay, how do I, first of all, I love myself. I'm okay with myself. I'm awesome. And then you go, okay, what do I want to work on? Because it's always about betterment, right?
Right.
Some people need to work on slow down, rest, take a break, right?
Oh my gosh, absolutely true. And I think one thing, if I can just sort of highlight something you said indirectly, it doesn't matter how much confidence you have and how good you are. We all go through self-doubt, right? Like you can be really good at something, and in that moment, like you said, for whatever reason, that contract didn't come through, you still go through that process of was it me? Was it this? Was it that? You know your industry so well, but we still, it could be all these other variables, but you still go through that process. So I think as your own research and development department, it's healthy. Just don't unpack your bags and live there.
And you said something key too, processing, right? So sometimes, like again, part of my transition in that industry, and like I'm healthier now than I was probably in my 40s, and again, gone through cancer, and I had a hip replacement, all these things. So I feel great, right? I just weighed myself again. I'm not scared of the scale. I used to be scared of the scale, and the scale's not my enemy. You know what? The scale helps me reach my goals, just for me.
It's a tool.
So, yeah, I was 300 pounds, and some people, well, you don't look 300 pounds. So, but I know how I'd feel in that. So I have a goal. I want another surgery, and I'm not going to get that surgery. The surgeon won't do it until I have X amount of weight loss, right? And because it's a core stomach thing, right? So I can't I don't want to be afraid of challenging myself.
Good.
And but like you said about SMART goals, and we'll go into that a bit. The like I know successful people, Michelle, that go through life. I'm actually counseling a guy. Um, he won't never be on here, but he's successful, realtor in Vancouver, makes lots of money. Has you know he probably has shoes that were more expensive than my rent, and and he's not happy, and he's
Right.
relational things, family. So a guy like that. Now I'm not saying he hasn't worked towards success, but like things just fall in his lap. He doesn't have to worry about rent, or he owns his own place, so not rent, so mortgage, or he just doesn't have to. He's been very successful, right? So you can ride that wave, but at some point, like Michelle mentioned, you're going to life doesn't isn't fair to anybody at different times. Things happen out of our control, right? And so I've been working with him for several months now, and he's and whatever. There's a group of us here. He's a pretty arrogant. He's successful, right? So he's pretty proud, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah. Confident.
we're getting over that,
Yeah.
and underneath that, he's overcompensating for something, right?
Of course.
Again, he's financially successful in the world. He looks like he's a rock star, right?
Yeah.
But underneath that, there's things now, like he's sad that he lost his family, and his mindset for several months was, well, like they can have everything we want. With vacation, we go here, Palm Springs. Like he just had, but his wife and kids, the kids are older, like they're in their 20s now. There was just a disconnect because that. And it's I digress from our topic, but the whole thing is that part of it is being aware, and it's okay to tell yourself, it doesn't matter, rich, poor, old, young, just go, okay, in the next 6 months, what do I want? Or 3 months or a year? And Michelle said something too, is that you want to have an achievable, actually I'll say the SMART goals, just so it's out there. So
Right.
SMART goals is specific, measurable, achievable, reliance. I mean, relevant, not reliant, relevance and time bound. And I know people
Did you
this
say
is
the last one is time bound?
time bound
Hmm.
because sometimes now depending on a personality, so it's like anything, you know, things trigger you. Because some of us are very free love. Like I, I do time bound stuff, but it's not my, where I live. I'm pretty organic, right?
You know what's
So
funny about that? We
yeah,
do really doable for tea.
yeah.
Because right, I realize it ties in with so oh, I spelled relevance wrong. Anyway, so
Well, I
yeah,
said it wrong first, right?
threw me right off. But yeah, that's interesting. So if you want to tweak the words, and like there's a zillion of them, there's another one that's goop. I can't remember what that one is. But there's a bunch of them. So feel free to, but that's interesting. Time bound. So time bound, does that mean you're setting deadlines?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So this is actually all it's about, and you probably do this in here. Well, we're going to be transparent. So I'm going to put you in a hot seat in a minute. So you got time to think about it. Breathe in, breathe out, right? So with Weight Watchers, very structured. They're structured for a reason. That's why they're successful.
Yep.
They invest into equipping people and training people, and then you become like me in a different way. The hands and feet on the ground, right?
Front line.
And
Yep.
in that, sometimes what happens is we in our personal life, personal business, we become depending on the personality, it's harder for us. I was say we become so, but it's just harder for us. So for me, with my, I've been working on a website forever on going into mental wellness. And one of the reasons I'm doing it, it's like Michelle with some of her side hustles, is I just know people that can't afford a $250
Hmm.
psychologist or therapist, right? And some people have coverage with, like, if you're a blue collar person, you have coverage maybe up to $500 at work if you got Sun Life or Blue Cross, whatever, right? So I'm trying to find, just through my experiences, finding people like I don't want, I can't do it for, well, I do it for free now. I don't want to do it for free all my life because it becomes my kind of semi-retirement thing. I like doing it. I want to make it affordable, right? But so I have a business plan, we'll say, right? Doing something I like. But I find it's easy for me to um and I'm being honest here. I know it's good. I know I'm good at what I do, all this stuff. I've had other businesses, but I'm acutely aware that there's hesitance in me,
Hmm.
and 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 I'm not scared to learn something I don't know. And actually what I do, I get people smarter than me to help me out. That's how I do things, right?
Perfect. Yeah, nothing
But
wrong with that.
this whole thing about specific and time bound, because measurable, achievable, relevant are like they're all important. But the time bound, depending on your personality, you don't have to beat yourself up. If you go, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to, in the next 5 days, I want to every morning when I wake up, after I brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, have my coffee, tea, whatever you do, I want to just take 5 minutes and I just want to, before starting my day, close the world out, just
Sure.
focus, center yourself, right? And that's not bad, right? So,
What if
part
you
of,
don't achieve it though? What if 5 days goes by and you forgot 2 days? Are you
so
angry at yourself when you do it that way?
yeah, you whip yourself. No, you don't. You get somebody else. You get somebody else to whip you. Oh, that's another topic. No, no,
Never
you,
mind.
see, that's the funny part because depending on your personality
Hmm.
is if somebody is exactly what you're talking about, somebody knows that they're going to beat themselves up,
Yeah.
then like when I would do consulting for restaurants again, right? I had people in the restaurant industry, people are coming to you. You've got a brick and mortar or truck or whatever, right? So my world's different. I go out and prospect all the time. I'm not scared to say no. I'm so cash. I'm positive, right? I've got prospects I've been working on for 10 years. Still prospect. I still see them every once in a while. They ask me questions. I tell them when their coffee roaster they're using now retires or dies, pick me.
Of
But
course.
but in it, see the attitude or the mindset is we got to shift. Time bound and specific are key components because if you don't put them in a SMART goal, then it's ambiguous, right? But don't beat yourself up if you don't like. I'll use me again. I'm down 45 pounds now. I was down 50, and then I had different things happen, right? I want to be down to 220, which sounds crazy to me. I was 220 and I was going to say in the 30s. I wasn't alive in the 30s, but I got to take that fear out of the equation. I got to go. Like you said, something little bit by little bit.
That's
What do
right.
I do today? What am I nutritional put in my body? What am I not? And if I ate a bag of chips, oh well, I ate a bag of chips. Don't let that stop me tomorrow. So our mental well being is probably the biggest thing. Make it fun, make it measurable and achievable. Find yourself. I don't know. Give me a measurable. Oh, here, I want to go back to you. Your tie dye business.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
3 years.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say from the 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. So word of mouth. I know you love this stuff, right? Word of mouth, right?
Yeah. Word of
So
mouth. Yeah. Facebook.
so
Nicole
I
did.
know you. I know you had a group that you told us where you were doing well. So what in your mind? What would you like to see an achievable goal? And it could be volume. It could be a dollar amount. You may say I'd love to make $1,000 a month or 500, whatever. It doesn't matter, right?
Mhm.
So where not where you're at now. You may go. I'm sometimes this amount. I'd like to be steady type thing, right?
Right.
So so not what you're doing now. What would be a goal that you would go? Maybe I would think about that.
So I think um so like just sort of keeping it sort of general, not I think for like growing my Sarnia Rocks page, I'd like to get it to 10,000
Okay,
members.
that's the perfect one. So what are you at
So let's
now?
7,000.
Okay, so I know you're smart, right? How do
Okay.
you get and that's in growing viewership is very difficult. That's what we want to do here, just so you know. So there's everything's on the table. We will nicely sales pitch you. We're not charging you money. It's all free, free, free. But we would
Of
love for
course.
you to invite your friends, share in that because there's something about we want to build this. We're really okay to be slow. So if you're at 7, how do you think you get to 10? Because you want to get to 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to 10. Absolutely. So it's quality of my content, keeping out spammers. I don't invite people. I haven't invited people and I don't know how long, but people invite people. So
Yeah.
probably and it's a group, it's not a page. So it's
Okay.
not like or it's yeah, so people are requesting to join. Like it's a little bit different, right? So people tell people and then because of all the spammers and the AI and everything on Facebook, I've had to rein it in because no, some famous people haven't died. Those spammy posts that you see around. So Simon Cowell lives on to see another day. So I ended up tightening, like I've had this page for a long time. I've had Sarnia Rocks, the website, over 20 years. But the page I started getting a lot of spammers. So I put tight permissions on it. Now, if you want to comment on something or post something, I have to approve the first one.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are inviting people, good quality posts. I'm keeping it clean. Um, and then I started a newsletter this last year. I have over 100 people every Monday get my newsletter, so that's pretty good. I think I've tagged this actually on the newsletter. And then I also do every Friday, I do a weekend sneak peek, and it gives you all, it's just a little snippet from my site, which connects. I probably have about 500 people a day going to the website. So those activities that don't include inviting people are generating more growth, but it's taken me a long time to figure that out. Do you know what I mean? With all the, like, my positive power page, that's
Yeah.
at about 2,000 people. Same thing though. I have to create a valued product that they want to participate in.
Yeah. So we're going to use that. I'm going to use that, and then we're going to go back to. I'm just use a tie dye. I could
Sure.
like those worlds, like what Michelle's talking about. And again, I want to. We got like 15 people now. A bunch of other people join us. Thanks for joining us. The thing about goal setting, and if it's a personal goal, if it's a business goal, it's relational, mental wellness, all this stuff. If you set a goal, there's stats that will say if you write something down or
Yeah.
do things, you have more success, more opportunity to succeed, right? And it's like learning something. You can read something, but if you read it and say it, it's just the way our brain works, right?
And
But
then visualize it as well.
yeah, so with something like building a base just in the way the world is, it's incredibly difficult. So like Michelle said, I'm not an expert, but I research a lot of this stuff, and I know people that do well, right, in the social media areas, right? And it's content. And right now, there's just a zillions people on TikTok that, like, it, the world's just crazy, right? So one of the questions I'm going to ask for the group is what and I'm correct me if I'm wrong, not you, Nikki, but I'm assuming a majority of our group is probably in our age demographics, right?
Right.
And so our the target market for us is going to be different, just being honest, right? We're not small percents are on TikTok or whatever other things they're doing, right?
You're on
But
TikTok?
I'm I think I am, and I don't know. I think Tammy's granddaughter got me on because she did some videos up in. Anyways, I
Oh,
think
okay. I'm not on it.
I
Okay.
don't. I don't think I've ever. I think I looked at a video of her. Her and her friend like were 12. They did this dance that was on TikTok. So she set me up, and I don't think I've ever been on it again.
Okay.
But 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 the thing is, like building that world. Part of it is it's you got to ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose? And
Yeah.
if you know that, then in that world, I know people of crazy musicians, and you can't just go get a record deal anymore. That's gone. I know people have got record deals and have made less money with record deals. I know a very good friends of mine that were a group they had a 3 record deal with a major label 20 years ago, I think, and they were paid up front, like I think each band member $50,000 or whatever. It was like, hey, we're rock stars,
Yep.
and they in a way sold their soul. In a way, they were stuck in a contract, right?
Right.
So I want to go back to tie dyeing. So how many? And then I'm going to use. I want to use something that's more like it's not brick and mortar, but it's a product, right? How many tie dyes do you think you do a month on average?
Sell or make? Because they're two different numbers.
Well, see, now we can say how many do you make to sell, and how many would you make that you like to sell more?
Yeah,
Huh?
so because I have an inventory, right? So I have been, but I've had a really, it's a hard topic with that one because
Okay.
I was doing for a client pretty much full time for the last 4 months, probably 20 t-shirts a week or about 15 hoodies, but that changes because whatever. So
Yeah.
that's yeah, but then I don't know. Anyways, that's the
No,
answer.
and so let's use it just as an example. I don't want now I'm
Sure.
putting we're gonna have to have therapy after. No.
I will.
So so what happens is like in anything with our business, so a business mindset, starting a new business, if it's products or whatever we're doing, and this converts to wellness, like it just doesn't happen. It's not like a mushroom that grows in your garden. Oh, hey, a mushroom came from, right?
That's
So
right.
if Michelle, using an example, Michelle goes, I sell 100 um, tie dyes a month, and I'd like to sell 120. See now, well, that's my work phone. Sorry, freaked me out. My then she has a goal. I want to sell 20% more. I want to sell 120, right? So then how do I attain that goal? Now her goal is it's her goal is time bound in the sense of saying, okay, I sell 100 a month. I want to go reach 120 a month. Hey, here, I use a restaurant. I have a restaurant that says our break even's $1,000 a month and or $1,000 a day, not a month, $1,000 a day, and we want to do 20%, right? So we want to do 1,100. So how do you do it? Do you offer during slow periods? How do you bring in how many more cups of coffee? Blah blah blah, right? So using that for business, if you got a little home-based business, and don't like lose sleep and like get your brain all fried on, because that's not going to help anything. It's same as with in Michelle's world and in the world I'm in, not professionally but personally. When you're working with people's physical wellness, um, you learn not to beat yourself up. You need to love yourself. But if you don't set a goal on, say, eating better or exercise, whatever components it is,
Yep.
it's unless you win the lottery and you go find a doctor in Mexico that's going to cut all the fat off. And I thought about that, by the way, a long time ago, right? But you have to set small attainable goals. So part of it's going, okay, like right now, my cardio is down just the way it is. But my goal is I'd like to walk 10,000 steps a day.
Okay, good.
I'm not there,
Right.
right? I'm not there. But it's a goal. And that one I don't put a timestamp on it. That one's going, that's more of a progressional goal.
Did you set
But
increments then? Have you set increments?
because of the work I do, I can't. My job is like you. I'm either sitting here or I'm sitting in my car.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, so what I do is I look at what are things that I can control that. If I'm being honest, I don't say I'm lazy. That's unfair. If I'm being honest, um, I'm not motivated. Better way of saying it, right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm still doing better and better, right?
Yep.
But for me, and my trainer that I was working with, if I want to be physical well, and like I go to the gym still 3 times a week, I do stuff like I'm stronger, building muscle, but the food component, and you would know this because that's your field, is really crucial. Really crucial. Again, not being so, and maybe you might have a different view, but my trainer, a very good friend of mine, he's a mixed martial artist guy, my age, stuff like that. Went through some health scares and that, but he says 80% of what you put in you is going to have the bigger effect.
That's right.
And it's not like, and then my other guy says, which I love, is a guy at the gym, another trainer at the gym I go to. He says, if you're going to cheat, he used the word cheat. Okay. Cheat on a day that you go to the gym.
Oh, so you're burning it off.
Yeah. So you're just but at the end of the day, say mental wellness. My friend's bipolar, right? So he doesn't want to be medication. That's just not, he was on it, doesn't like the way it makes him feel, right? So how do you manage being bipolar? Highs and lows. And you know a bit about bipolar? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sometimes you need it's a chemical imbalance, right?
Roller coaster. Yeah.
So depending on high and manic behavior, how do we want to level, right? It's like anything. Like when I had that crappy Friday, it's crappy. I'm not going to pretend it's not, but I have to not let it suck my soul, right? So he was telling me just things that he does. He goes for walks. He's a business guy. He lives in Alberta, so he's learning his mind and his body. He almost died. He had a heart attack where they had to helicopter him to save his life. Anyways, I love this guy. He's like the rest of us. He's not perfect, but he's learned himself, and he goes, Tom, I need to. This is my friend Shannon. I told you met him. I think he waved or something
Yeah,
last
I
time.
remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
my
He has
friend.
a business called Fit Boss where he does training and he does some other stuff, right? So he's like us, where he's lived it. He's lived through the highs and lows.
That's right.
But he reminds me, he says, Tom, even if you screw up for a week or screw up, try not to screw up for a week. Try to make our cycle small, right?
Yeah,
But beating yourself up does nothing. That's all negative poo poo.
that's exactly right. And that's where you turn a slip into a slide,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, and getting back on focus as soon as possible is definitely the way. And I think it's funny when you're talking about the bipolar, my very first thought is that guy needs a food journal. I wonder how many chemicals he has in that he's eating that are adding to it. Do you know what I mean?
And
So,
you know what?
uh,
You guys will get along so good.
oh, good.
He would, with his app that he's working through some things on, and he's getting stuff. And then he's, like I said, he's in my age. He's in his mid 60s or early mid 60s, I guess. It's you know what you know, but if you don't know something, get somebody who's better at it than you, right? So
Right.
he's talking about micronutrients.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he knows, he talks about good carbs, good fat. So what
Yeah.
you're talking about, he's going like, and it's really finite. And some people, that's
Yeah.
going to too much for me, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. You may never have to go there. But here's an example. If you want to save, no, I'm going to use an example from our other sister Tina, who's never on here, so I could talk about her. Her daughter Carrie, who we love.
Yeah.
This is a secret. You
Gary
talked
might
about.
come on here.
Yeah, I'll think. Yeah, Carrie won't come on here. But when I went on my trip again, I went to see them because I love all my family. I don't get to see them as much as I'd like to. And Carrie did this thing, and you probably have heard of it. I've never done it, but it was I don't even know what it was called, but she would have an envelope, and on day one she put $1 in the envelope. Day two, $2 in the envelope. Day three, $3 in the envelope. I wish, and so she would do it, and it was either days or weeks or whatever, right? So she did this thing, and to whatever the end was. So we won't do math. Well, our brain will fall apart, or
Right.
mine will.
Thank
But
you.
if you want to save up for a month,
Yeah.
so if you put day one $1, $2, $3, so day 30, $30. But all of a sudden, if you looked at that,
Mhm.
and now on the end of the month, you go, now you can spend it and start again.
Yeah.
You'd be going,
Right.
holy, like
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
be
It's like
right.
saving tips, right?
It's like the change in your cup holder. It's like
Yeah.
going to the gym, and the guys at the gym that I work with saying, just do one more. And if
Yeah.
you can't, you can't. Like, just do one more notch on the treadmill if you can, right?
That,
Treadmill's that cardio is my weakness. So that's why I'm working on my steps and stuff, right? Because I
right.
know I need to do it for my heart,
Do you
right?
ever do the arm bike?
What's that?
Do you have an arm bike? Do they have an arm bike there?
We were doing this. The picture I had was the old thing when you do this and the monkey would go around.
I didn't see a monkey there yet, but that's one thing that we do for cardio is an arm bike.
So
And I'm
for me, they have that there. I
okay.
go to. Do you guys have Anytime Fitness? You probably do. It's got to be a national account, right?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I
So
don't
not putting a plug for them, but I like it for me because I go anytime, which is a big deal for me, right?
fitness.
Yeah. So, so for me, my balance after my hip and then just different things I've had, I need to work on balance, right? And I
Right.
have one. So again, we're talking about SMART goals. So if I know this is a challenge for me, then first of all, I'm going to take 10 steps back. If you love yourself enough, and you should, and if you don't love yourself enough, then Michelle will send you some sticky notes or something like that.
I will send
You
you something.
you are worth everything that you can do without beating yourself up.
Yep.
I've only started investing into my physical wellness in the last few years. And it's in my 60s, right? Mental wellness, maybe 50s, right? it's never too late, and it's okay, right? So you need to tell yourself, say, you know what, I'm worth the hard work, whatever it is. Um, my sister's on here, and our other sister, or no, it was our sister was on that's on here. Well, it doesn't matter. But she was in an accident years ago with her bike, right? She
Okay.
had to rehabilitate her after surgery, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the mindset. You don't look at it and go, oh crap, I got supersized, you know, I got a Diet Coke at McDonald's, but I got 3 cheeseburgers and 4 fries,
Right.
right? That's the worst place. You need to go, okay, you know what? What's one step?
That's it.
And in it, the whole back to SMART goals, and you'll figure out what works for you. Like you can find a lot of SMART goals on there and different things, like you said. But
Right.
I put down, don't fool yourself. It's not even worth it. And if you're in a place going, you know what, I'm just thankful I get up in the morning and put pants on or something like that.
Some days, some days.
It's okay. And then what I would say, you wouldn't think of this as a SMART goal. I would say reach out, make sure you're in contact with somebody. Don't be alone, right?
That's a
I'm
good.
I'm in a I'm in 2 depression groups that are once through emails and this different things, so very private, and it's North America. No, I think there's some Europe, and that's what we tell people. So there's some people that'll isolate, and the walls come in. So part of it is just, in the morning, talk to one person, family in the morning. It might just be a quick text or anything to not be sucked in, right?
Right. Exactly right. Can I tell you the story about the guy that had the running room? Do you remember the running room? It was, I don't know if it was just across Canada, but the story of the running room is there was a guy and he was in terrible shape health wise, and his daughter had something coming. I can't remember specifically. I'm leaning towards it was a father daughter dance, but I'm not sure. Well, he was so unhealthy. He felt horrible about feeling like he was going to disappoint her, whether he
Right.
couldn't endure the event or whatever that looked like. So, what he did was he set a goal to walk to the end of his driveway and back. He did it. So then the next day he set, or whatever, he set the next goal to go to the first lamp post. So he did it. He went first lamp post and then he came back. He started progressing and he went by lamp post to lamp post to lamp post. By the time the event came, he was feeling fabulous, motivated, inspired, and confident. He ended up running, I don't know, a half marathon, then a marathon, and then created the running room. And even though they had like t-shirts and running shoes and that sort of thing, the core, and I did actually take this program a long time ago, was to teach people how to run. And I took the program, and the way you start is walking for 9 minutes, running for one, and then you switched it up. And at the end of the group or the period, the course, the class, whatever, we all did a 5K, myself
Wow.
included. Yeah, but what
Way to go. Pom pom, pom pom.
yeah, right, exactly. None of my members believe it's true, but it's true. I died while I was doing it, but I did it. Um, and funny story, I'm running along, and my condition today I had then, but I didn't realize what it was. I was running so slow. Oh my gosh. I it was just so slow, but I was bound and determined I was going to make it to the end, and then I was never going to run again. So I'm going along. I'm so hot and I'm so tired, and I just want to get to the end and make this whole thing be done. And this guy, so this was, oh my gosh, probably 15 years ago. So here I am, early 40s. This guy runs up beside me. Oh my gosh, he had to be 100. And I look and he goes, "Good job, kiddo." And he booked it right past me. No,
Yeah, that's so funny, right?
right?
That's so funny.
Oh,
So a couple things. I love that. See, again, the other thing too, you know, owning it, it's in our wheelhouse, right? Me and Michelle's
Right.
wheelhouse, storytelling, right?
Yeah.
This about mental wellness. Think about, here's a little bit of homework for you. Some may write it down, may just think, some may look at pictures, but the power in story. I wrote down when you were speaking about motivation. Oh, how do we motivate ourselves, right? But this thing about storytelling or like listening to stories, watching a true story of on a movie, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So I just picked up as you were talking about running because when I was coming back, I stopped at the Terry Fox Memorial. Have you been there?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go up there, besides being a beautiful view, but most of us know the story of Terry Fox, right? To some degree.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if do you remember that game Telephone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody's here. The sky is falling. The next guy, this guy is lying. This, and you go on, right? So the story about Terry Fox, if you go look up, you want to look up what motivated him to run. So he had cancer at 18,
Yeah.
lost his leg. And you'll see a lot of people now that lose a family member, whatever, and they become this self-aware awareness, right? Even though we've always known it, right? So the story of Terry Fox is he started in, let me pull it up because I just looked, I think he went to St. John's. But St. John, Newfoundland on the 12th of April, 1980. And he covered 5,373 kilometers in 143 days, 42 kilometers on average a day.
Amazing.
And then he stopped. He didn't, if he would have thought of the country, the end goal of Vancouver, he would have given up. Most of us would give up, right?
That's right.
All he knew is I'm going to focus on my next step. And when you feel like I know through years and years ago, I know some of his family members. I think an uncle or an aunt through different 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right?
Sure.
And they said like he was a normal dude. And when he first said he wanted to do this, it was like the biggest pipe dream, right?
Yeah.
And and then because he knew what he went through and he wanted to raise money for cancer,
Yeah.
he thought, you know how you get people to sponsor you for like in school, the little kids sponsor you for like doing like, I don't know, 100 cent walk, right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing again is motivation. What do we need to do to allow us to be motivated to not standing still? Because in the world right now, Michelle, how much is gas out there?
I usually Robert puts it in, but I feel like it's 165. Maybe it's a little bit less again.
Ours is over $2.
I heard that.
It's stupid. It's supposed to go up to 250 in the summer, right? So we can get swallowed up by things out of our control. So part of it is going, okay, how do we do that? Out here, they're talking about mortgages. A fellow on Michael Campbell on Global News in BC, but he's talking about, and he goes like there's people where their mortgages are coming up to be renewed. They say had a 3 or 5 year mortgage, and when they got their first mortgage, it was like 2.2%. Now it's over 6. So their mortgage that was affordable, say was 1,800, is now going to triple that. Right. So there's people walking away from their mortgages saying, I'm just going to rent, can't afford it, right? So that's a real hard, bad thing. But part of it is going, what do we need to do, self-check, to be the better version of ourselves tomorrow. So in the group here, I'd throw out there, so let me get back to the group because there was like 20 or 20 some people on at some point, Michelle.
Hey, good.
Yeah, we've got the good hour going on. And so part of it, and you guys can put down on the group, is share some, if you feel comfortable, doesn't have to be real personal, share some of the goals. Mm-hmm. So the other thing about goal sharing, and I believe this is in your wheelhouse, is if you have a goal, if you share with somebody you feel safe with, that will, in gentle, loving arms, hold you accountable, then hold each other accountable, then again, that's another thing that helps you reach your goal, right?
Absolutely. And that's why members who go to workshops are more successful, not knocking people that just do it online, but you have that accountability with the group, you have that accountability with me. So it's the same thing, no matter, like, not pushing them. I'm just saying, just, you're exactly right. Having a walking buddy, that's one of the things that comes up a lot of times when we talk about activity. When you know your friend's waiting, you're more, whether it's walking or go to the gym or whatever, you know that they're relying on you. You're not going to bail on them the same way you would bail on yourself, right?
100%.
There is a
Yeah.
lot of value in that. And I've had some through COVID, because that's when we went virtual. I had these two sisters that were members, and they might be on here. I'm not sure. They're both in the group. But they were accountability buddies and lived hundreds of miles away because they
Yeah.
did it through text, they did it through FaceTime, phone
Yeah.
calls. So it doesn't have to be somebody you see all the time. And honestly, like with me, my accountability buddy is all my group. I'm accountable to all of them. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So having somebody, they lift you up, but they also keep you on task, right? Like, oh, hey, well, you could have tried that. Remember, it worked for you last time. Or have you ever thought of, like with the whole, the way the prices are and everything. There's a lot of people that are going back to what I'm going to call community living, like I do, right? One kid upstairs, one kid downstairs, everybody
Yeah.
contributes. A lot of people are looking at that sort of thing, switching it up, and even changing the different, going to small houses, or there's just a lot of different options right now that are not living in a tent, right? Like, just looking at all of them and thinking to yourself, well, what do I have? We all have knowledge and skills. So what do I have that I can, put on the table? I'm a pen to paper person too. So, like, a list of, well, what do I have to offer? Or, yeah, exactly. Same as with the tie dyeing. I started it out of boredom for something to do during COVID. And then I ended up with a whole bunch of it, and it looked pretty stinking good. And that's when I was like, well, my hours are being cut. This can supplement. So, do you know what I mean? But I had to be open to realize, hey, this is a viable option. People are interested, and let's see where this takes me. That's always my, let's see where this takes me.
So the before we go, couple things. Number one, I love that you're talking about how you got to tie dye, because there's I have I'm not putting now I'm sound I sound like I'm product plugging, which I'm not meaning to. But I've got my personal phone. I have two, which I feel weird. I don't need two, but my work, like, I have to have a different one than my personal, right? My personal phone is a Google Pixel Pro 7, and it takes the best pictures. This is the phone right now. The quick pictures. My wife has um, a good phone, whatever she has, like a newer one, lasts 2 3 years. We don't get one every year, and hers is good. She likes a good camera because she hikes and all that a lot. But hers takes like about 2 seconds or a second and a half to take the picture. Mine's crazy. I shared pictures of the thing we had a week ago, the Borealis, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so one of the things that I'm thinking of doing, and this is going somewhere, the one thing I'm thinking of doing is I look at some of my pictures. Teresa takes pictures of the forest. I take a whole bunch of different things, right? And I had somebody, a friend of mine who's a photographer and an artist, said you should try this thing called, I don't know if it's New Print or something like that. And basically, you upload your photos in the gallery, and people go there and look. And then if they want something,
Oh,
they they
yeah.
get it printed there. So you profit share, whatever, right? And I thought, yeah, so that sounds pretty good. I got some good pictures, right?
I love it.
Motivation,
Good.
right?
Yep.
But here's the thing. When you successful, I'm not talking, it's not just a financial, it's a mindset. Successful people, a majority of it is what's called perspiration, and it could be mental perspiration. It takes energy and effort to succeed.
Right.
Not a dirty word. And if you're somebody who feels like you've got nothing in the tank, that's okay. We're here to help you make sure there's no cracks and holes in your tank, right? So, and that comes out of community. That's the power of story and community, right? So I'm going to end on this, and then if you have some stuff you want to finish with, motivational. Here's my group challenge, and I do these for fun. We don't come to your door, knock on the door, and ask if you did, finish this, right?
That's right.
Think about, and everybody can do this. There's nobody that can't do this. Think about something that you would like to do that you're not doing, and it could be mentally, physically. I know somebody who says, I don't read enough, I want to read more.
Yeah.
Awesome. So try to read. They didn't tell me they just said they want to read more, right? And it's a guy who goes, I don't think I've read since I was in college. And he's my age, so we're laughing, right? And he wants to read, slow down, do a bit of gardening, right? So how do we because what are things that in the next little bit, we're not putting you on a time bound thing, but that's up to you to figure that out. What's a goal that you can set and go, okay, I'm going to try this for the next, let's say, month. I'm going to throw one out there for you that me and Michele now do because it's memory muscle.
Yes.
Is we show kindness.
Right.
And we're not perfect at it, and we do it within our means and our not means. Yep. But it's in our DNA to not just be tunnel vision ourselves. So we look for opportunities to, I would say influence, that sounds like a hard word, but we are acutely aware of what we've been through and people have been there for us and all that, and we give back. We believe in giving back. Fair?
Fair enough. Absolutely.
So we've said this one once before. So if you're not sure what to do, I'm going to throw something out because we're doing this out of giving. That's our whole motivation, right? I want to throw out a challenge, and you can share it if you're not. Most of you are too shy. We're working on getting you not being so shy. I want to challenge you that in the next month, that at least 2 times you show kindness to somebody. It could be helping somebody, an elderly, across the street. It could be helping them bring groceries from the cart or bringing their cart back to the thing so they have to walk it back. It could be buying somebody a coffee. It could be giving somebody a dime. Michele knows what I'm getting to.
That's fine. I love that. And yeah, I think don't overqualify them, right?
No.
Like holding the door for somebody, letting somebody in that's trying to get in the Walmart parking lot. And it's great big lines everywhere. Let one person in. I think that's proper driving etiquette, anyways.
Say hi to somebody if you're shy.
Yeah.
If you're like socially introverted, you don't have to do it every day. Don't freak yourself out. When you go to the store, say, and I'll tell you the easy one to get through, except for mom, because she'll talk to you back. Find somebody who's senior, if you're going to the grocery store, whatever, and just say hi. And me and Michele would be the type of, hi, I hope you have a great day. You look wonderful. Like that's just because we do it. Like that's in our DNA a bit, right? Doesn't mean we're special, by the way. Well, we're kind of special.
You're special.
But if we open up just a bit and allow ourselves to be the best that we can be, not in some weird Tony Robbins way, even though I like some stuff he talks about, right? Not only are we better, well, you know what I don't like about, I actually like him. What I don't like is people try to be him.
Right. Oh, I get that. Absolutely.
And he doesn't want people try to be him because they want to be successful like him.
That's right.
That's not what he's about. So
and that's not the true passion. I agree.
That's not him. So okay, it's almost 20 after. What wisdom?
I got a quote. Okay, so you are never too old to set a new goal or to dream a new dream. That's my quote for today.
Love it.
So I noticed, not to put you on the spot, but I noticed that this was part one. Is that what you really look like? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Are we gonna continue this topic next week? But a
So,
different part, or what's your thoughts there? Let's just tell everybody.
well, and me and Michelle, after this, we debrief for a few minutes, and then
We
one of
will.
us is hungry, and
We
it's
will.
late out there. It's
Dog's
9:20.
hungry. I gotta
Yeah,
go cook.
I need to wherever Michelle is there. Oh, she's on the side on this one. Okay, the
Yeah,
side.
yeah, there you go. There you go.
But what do you think?
I think that's a great idea. I actually, when I noticed it, and we can break it down after we're done, but I love the idea because as you're talking, especially because this is sort of my thing as well, I think about so many different things that are tied in, like bundling, setting cues to go to help you. Like it's so I think that's a great idea if we stay sort of on this topic for a couple weeks but break it down a bit.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. So Michelle, that's awesome. I'm glad this is our after brief stuff, but we're doing it live in front of you guys, which is great.
Yeah.
One of the topics, if you guys remind me, or Michelle will, or it's recorded, I'll listen to it. I guess I don't listen to us. I'm being honest. A
I
couple
don't
times I have.
either.
I have a couple times. It's interesting. Some people don't like to listen to themselves or watch themselves.
That's me.
Right. When I've done some recordings with people with music, they don't want to record their voice because they're going, oh, I said, but that's how you're gonna get better. Don't say how horrible you are, right? Here's one of the topics I want you to think about. I think it's totally in your wheelhouse and my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I'm thinking of um, the tangible. So we're talking about growing to the best version of yourself. Well, actually, I'm not thinking tangible. I'm thinking of sensory tangible. So what? And we'll think of a different word. The picture I had was how music affects us,
Oh, love it. Yeah.
how arts, how people gardening, putting their hands in the dirt, which I don't do, by the way. My wife planted some flowers for me here the other day. She brought them over and took like 5 minutes, but I got to remember to water them, right? And it sounds weird, Betty. I think I've said before, me and my wife are separated, both working on some mental wellness. But anyways, we're both nice to each other. We didn't have any type of weird things happening. She's got the best of both worlds. She can come visit me, and then she can go to a quiet place and get away from me. Um, but but my thing is, think about it just with me and you, because we're doing this live now. And we'll get people's response. Maybe give them a heads up. What are the tactile things that we do that are sensory? Because part of our wellness in our brain, there's things that happen with touch and smell and these things, and there's
For sure.
proof in that, right?
Yeah.
So are we
Yeah.
good?
I love that. Awesome. Very good. Woo, 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 woo. Awesome. Oh, there you go. I love it.
Where's your tennis racket? Where's
Yeah,
your
exactly. Don't hang yourself. Okay. All right. So we are wrapping up for this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Feel free to like, share, invite people, all that other great stuff. And thanks for helping us grow, right? That's what it's all about. We're better together. And every week we're growing each other, I think, as well, because some of these topics really resonate with us. So, everybody, we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much for being so awesome. And just a friendly reminder, anything is possible. You are just as capable as everybody else that walks on this planet. So keep that in mind. Okay. So we'll see you next week. Ciao for now.